Hey everybody, it's Chris from Chris Country from behind the camera again. I just decided to do a quick little video on Spot. Well, unfortunately, a week or so ago, I guess it was, Spot's starter decided to fail. So, fortunately, I got that replaced. It's running a lot better now. But, a few days ago, I kind of ran into a situation where, again, she wasn't wanting to start, and it was just my diagnostics. At first I was thinking, okay, maybe the starter went out again, maybe I've got another more serious problem. But just in going through it, going through my troubleshooting, I kind of forgot the one rule that I try and remind myself is just keep it simple. And what happened, and I think I can actually duplicate it again, we'll find out here. Well, like I basically got the same scenario set up, but you go to crank it, and you kind of get the same thing. Bulbs come on. When you turn the key all the way over, the digital odometer will drop out. So at first I was wondering if maybe my ignition switch. At first I was thinking ignition switch. But something else I tend to do when I'm troubleshooting a no start is just for automatic vehicles, if it won't start in park, I'll usually go to start it in neutral. And all I really did was just touch my gear shift, and I was able to actually push it up. Oop, I hit my horn, sorry about that. I was able to actually kind of just push it up into park, and then truck started right up. So when you guys have a no start, especially on these boards with these shifters, it's always a good idea just to verify that you're actually in park. But if you're, I call it your park safety neutral switch, if it's going out, I'll kind of show you real quick. If it's going out, what you can do sometimes, and it's also a very good indicator that that switch is on its way out. I'll shut the truck down. You can put it into neutral, and it should be able to start in neutral as well, but it won't start in any of the other gears. Like I put it in reverse, it won't let it start. You put it into neutral, it starts. Just don't forget to put your foot on the brake. But speaking of like figuring out a no start issue, these boards actually have a really handy feature that will kind of let you verify like your battery. And at first, I was thinking it could also verify fuel pressure, but unfortunately I don't really see a way that the gas does it like I thought it did. But I'll show you this interesting trick real quick. I'll shut the truck down. You can put the instrument cluster into what's called a self-diagnostic mode. You'll probably have to forgive me because it's kind of hard to do this with one hand, but to do this, what I do to get into it is you basically hold down your select reset button over here. You hold it down, and then you turn the key on to, of course, apply power to the cluster. And you want to hold that button for about 5 seconds. Now this, I'll check real quick, this may or may not reset the trip meter. I'll find out here. No, it hasn't reset mine yet, so that's good. But this is what I do with the key off at first. Alright, so got my key on the switch, my finger on the button, and I'm turning my key on with my thumb. So you see everything come on. I'm still holding the button for about 5 seconds. You'll see test, and you'll see gauge, and basically all of your gauges are going to kind of go through their full range of motion, and then they'll come up to where they're supposed to be with the truck off. This is just kind of a way to test things and see certain things, and I keep hitting my horn. But that's the first step, and basically you use this to kind of cycle through all the different tests. Like the next test just lights up all of the entire odometer, so you can verify that all the lights on that part are working. The next step activates what's called the bulb test, so it basically will light up all of your warning lights, things like that. The test after that, now there's a lot of features in tests that will display that I still don't know completely, or have that at least the operator provide very limited information. Like this PF, I really haven't figured that one out. But you'll see why this test is really interesting here in a second. The SF, I don't really know. Don't really know that. That, I guess, is just where the ignition switch position. R3OT, I think that's just a ROM level, kind of internal to the cluster, another ROM level. EE doesn't tell me much. This is just the hexadecimal format to the final manufacturing date. Don't really know the CF readouts like I should. DEC, I guess it's some sort of internal diagnostic code to the cluster. I haven't been able to look up this 9352. Now this is not a DTC. The DTC is like the famous check engine light codes, which this truck doesn't have any right now. Engine, ENG is actually English speed. It's basically a digital readout of your speedometer. So if you're actually moving while this test is going, which you can't do this with the truck running and stuff, it'll actually read out the digital form of your speedometer. So this will be like a good way to see if you're getting the signal and maybe just like the speedometer portion of the instrument cluster has gone bad. R1C, I don't know what that one is. Tachometer, tach is tachometer. I'll start the truck so you can see what I mean. Sorry about that, guys. But it just gives you a digital readout of your engine RPMs. Pretty cool. F is for fuel. It just kind of gives you a reading of the fuel level in a decimal form. Same thing for, I think FP is the same thing. 109C, I believe this is going to be your engine temperature. I might be wrong on this. Well, the oil one is tricky. I think the oil one was the last known reading of your oil pressure, which you guys can see my oil pressure's fine. But I think when I initiated the test, it was still, the engine was off, so that's why it's reading all zeros. No idea what that one is. BR is just brake fluid level. Now this is the one I was getting to, BAT. It's basically a direct readout of your battery voltage. Right now I'm at 14.3, which tells me that my alternator is charging the battery up. But getting back to the premise of the video, the whole reason why I'm making this video, you can use this to kind of tell where to get a digital reading of where your battery's at if you have a no-start issue. So if you get into this test and you're reading like 12.2 to, I like to see between 12.4 and 12.6. That means you have good battery voltage, so you know your battery's good. And if you ever want a quick idea to see of how your alternator's doing, just go into this test and, you know, it'll tell you. I'll go ahead and like switch on everything and we can kind of see how the alternator's doing. I'll turn my AC off, put the radio on.
To guarantee your total satisfaction with your purchase, so
lights on.
Keep your money in your pocket and enjoy your summer.
So I mean, it puts a load, but the battery's still charging.
When you buy any used car in stock, make no payments till fall. Only at
you can see as I shut things back off, my readout goes a little bit higher. But anyway, quickly finish this up. Rio is just kind of like the rheostat reading. I think that FF is full output. And then you can, as I adjust my dimmer, you can kind of see how the numbers kind of go up and down. So that's what that reading's for. PRND, just the digital readout of your gear selector. Like you notice, as I put the truck into different gears, the number changes. So, this one is, I think, is like your park safety interlock, but not real sure. Door, I can't demonstrate this on my truck because for whatever reason, none of my doors will trip off the door light, but it's supposed to be able to indicate like which doors are giving a door open signal. Seat is just basically your seatbelt. The CHPRs, these are just kind of getting into things I really don't know. And I think that's it for the ones that I can't tell you guys about. So just kind of a quick story about checking things on the no start. And of course it cycles through. To get out of the test, usually I just shut the truck off and restart it. But yeah, it's just kind of, I just wanted to show you guys the self-diagnostic mode and just little tips and tricks about figuring out no starts on these 4 trucks. So I hope you found the video informative, and I hope you guys are enjoying your day. I'm Chris for Chris Country. Feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to my videos, and we'll see you in the next one.